You're listening to the Health Courage Collective podcast, episode 40, Multiple Personalities. Welcome to the Health Courage Collective podcast, the show for women who are too busy to slog through hours of generalized, inapplicable, and often contradictory health information, but too smart to ignore that a few minutes of focused attention now can prevent years of suffering in the future. I'm your host, Christina Hackett, a pharmacist who doesn't want you to live on prescriptions, a certified coach specifically trained to maximize your potential, and a compulsive learner obsessed with preventative, cutting-edge, holistic, and integrative medicine. I'm on a mission to increase your physical and mental resilience so you can fearlessly look forward to your next 40-plus limitless years. Your time is now. Let's go. Hello, my friend. How are you today? Can you believe it's April already? Wow. Easter seems so late this year. I never quite understand how which Sunday will be Easter is determined. I'm sure there's a way. Is your family big into Easter celebrations? Mine isn't really. It's a pretty chill holiday at my house, which is fine by me. How is your holobiome? How are your gut buddies doing? Are you keeping them happy? Isn't it amazing how much microbes can influence in our life? I guess we shouldn't be surprised given how the world has been turned upside down for the past 2 years by a virus, but still, so amazing. Today we're going to talk about having multiple personalities. How do you feel about not being just one person? Who is the true you? Might there be more than one authentic version of you? It makes sense that you're a little bit of a different person at work versus with your kids versus with your husband versus when you're at Comic-Con or talking with someone you just met, right? Can you use these different personalities to upgrade your health and your life? For some reason, this keeps reminding me of Eminem, who's not my favorite or anything, but the other day at my high-intensity interval exercise class, I was doing ball taps. Have you done this before? You jump foot to foot and tap your other toe on the top of a medicine ball. It doesn't sound that hard, but after 90 seconds of it, it is, at least for me. And I was in that state of keep going to the beep, don't stop, it can't be that much longer. But blaring through the room was the, I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. So won't the real Slim Shady please stand up, because I'm Slim Shady. Over and over and over. Ugh, it was the worst. So, all that to say, who's your real Slim Shady? Not that you really care, but in case you didn't know, Slim Shady is one of Eminem's alter egos, along with Marshall Mathers, which is his real name. If Eminem can have 3 different personalities, you totally can, right? But do you want to? Let's explore this and you can find out what will work best for you. The ancient Greeks talked a lot about your daimon. This is the best version of you. Some people describe it as your inborn genius, soul companion, sense of personal fate, or true divine self. It's the opposite of a demon, a daimon. We'll think of our daimon as the best version of us. Optimize founder Brian Johnson suggests giving your daimon a name. His is called Optimus. Throughout the day, when choices come up, he'll say, "Okay, Optimus, what should I do here?" I think it's awesome. What do you think? What would you name the best version of you? I'd love to hear yours because I don't have a creative one. I just think of mine as my daimon. Kind of boring. I love the idea of having her be my BFF, or more importantly, my advisor, my coach, my true self. If you remember back from episode 12, Superman is not the alter ego. Clark Kent is the alter ego. Superman is the true identity. So it is with you. The best version of you is the real version of you. Why not ask her advice a little more often? As kids, we can't wait to grow up and be able to make all of our own choices. As adults, sometimes it feels like it would be nice if somebody else would just tell us what to do, right? Doing what you're told is a lot easier than wrestling with the pros and cons of every different option. The good news is that when you're feeling overwhelmed, you have someone you can ask to make the decision for you. Optimus You, whatever you decided to name her. She'll actually probably be able to decide fairly quickly, in most situations. She'll never cut corners, take the easy way out, or do something that will harm you or someone else. Your daimon as your advisor. Pretty great, right? How can you remember to take advantage of her wisdom next time you have to make a choice? How can you hear her wise whisperings a little more often? How can you be sure to remember to listen to her? Here's something that I think is genius. I heard this from a fellow Optimize coach. He said that whenever he's scared to do something, he just takes the easy way out and delegates the task. Anything he doesn't want to do, is worried he'll mess up, is nervous he'll fall short on, he delegates to his daimon. How great is that? I know I've been in situations before where I know what I should do, but I'm scared in some way. So I dance around it, procrastinate it, try to ignore it, try to talk myself into it, psych myself up for it, think of a reward to give myself if I do it. It can be exhausting. How much easier, quicker, and more fun would it be to hand it off to someone you know will do a great job? Here you go, Optimus. I'd like you to make this phone call. Plan and deliver this presentation. Design this project. Attend this party. Research these options. The possibilities are endless. What would you like to be able to delegate? How would your daimon show up to the task? Would she have a certain posture? Would she wear something in particular? When my boys were little, one of them had one of those blue Superman t-shirts that had 2 little Velcro patches on the shoulders that you could Velcro a little red cape onto you. Have you seen those? It was so cute. He'd run around the house and try to get the cape to fly out behind him. Is that the kind of attitude Optimus U would bring to her assignment? Could delegating work with regular stuff, like doing the dishes or vacuuming the car? I honestly don't know. What do you think? Would you be more likely to organize the junk drawer if you were acting as Optimus U fulfilling an assignment? Maybe, maybe not. One more idea I love is kind of the exact opposite. You think of your life like a business. Maybe you do run a business, so this will be easy, but even if it's not an actual business, you have business to conduct every day. You have projects and tasks and goals. You have to manage your time and money. You have to sell people on doing things in certain ways, attend meetings, answer phone calls, and deal with unhappy customers. While you're doing all of this, try to think of your daimon as the CEO. Optimus U calls the shots and creates the vision for the future. You're just an employee. You only do what your daimon puts in your job description. When you're not sure what's most important now, you ask your CEO what you need to spend your effort on. You trust your daimon to make the high-level decisions. You are just the worker bee. Your job is to execute the plan. How do you feel about that? I think it takes some of the overwhelm and confusion out of some of the things we need to do. Optimus U decides what needs to happen. You just show up, punch your time card, and start checking off to-do items. Okay, so far we've got 2 identities. You as you are now, and the Optimus version of you, your daimon. There are useful things we can do with this, but who exactly is your daimon? How would you describe her? It depends on what area of your life we're talking about, right? Maybe the world's best nurse, a prolific writer, a world-class athlete, mother of the year, most valuable team player, or Miss Congeniality. I think it's worth thinking through the identity of your daimon in your profession, in your home responsibilities, and in your health. Who are you when you're crushing it at work? A syndicated columnist, a fully booked photographer, a world-class social media strategist? What about at home? The fun mom, the strict mom, a safe refuge from the world, a soulmate? How about in your health? Who are you when you're at your best? An epic hiker, a world-class swimmer, a meal prep master, the Energizer Bunny? May I suggest not normal? Someone who sees honoring their physical body as a divine responsibility, doesn't accept the limitations of the standard of care, doesn't trust big pharma or big food to dictate what they put in their body, and knows it's possible to live disease-free for 100+ years? Once you have an idea of who you are at your best in a few different areas, you can use those personalities to help you close the gap between who you are now and who they are. It's like playfully chasing that person down a winding path, inching just a little closer to them as time goes by. Not beating yourself up for not being them yet. Of course you're not. You're human. You know that you'll never actually catch them. But in the pursuit, you'll catch excellence along the way. Another idea I got from that same fellow Optimize coach, his name is Eric and he's awesome, is that he says he sets alarms on his phone at 6 a.m., 9 a.m., and 6 p.m. The alarm is labeled with his identity or alternate personality specific for that time. So the alarm is constructed to come up when he's walking into the gym in the morning and it says, world-class athlete. He then steps into that personality and performs his workout as a world-class athlete would. A world-class athlete wouldn't phone it in, skip reps, be mindless, or push themselves to the point of injury. Another alarm goes off just as he's sitting down to his desk at work that says, world-class coach. He then flips into that persona. A world-class coach wouldn't skip writing a newsletter, water down their message, or shy away from lovingly telling a client a hard truth that might be uncomfortable to hear. Then, when he's walking back in the door at home, an alarm goes off that says, greatest dad of all time. Another person to embody. The greatest dad of all time wouldn't bring his work home with him, have his phone at the dinner table, or ignore his child's bid for his attention. What do you think about this embodiment of multiple personalities? I think it's such a good idea, especially with reminders at the exact time of day that you're stepping into another identity. To have that moment to pause and think through who you are at your best in that particular area. What is your optimal identity in that realm? Having that personality or identity defined ahead of time is awesome. Then all you have to do is become that version of you at the right time. Is there a way that you can apply this in your life? What would that look like? If doing it exactly the way Eric does it works for you, that's awesome. I don't love the idea of phone alarms. I know I would get alarm fatigue and start to ignore them or resent them. I'm still thinking through what I can do instead. I'm sure you probably have a better idea for me to try. For now, I have post-it notes and a few select locations that remind me of who I strive to be when I'm in those places. Generally, I'm physically moving to a different place when I'm changing roles, so there might be something about moving in space that I could use to help me, like maybe locking the door so I have to pause and unlock it while I think about which me I'm walking in as now, or putting a note or picture in my gym shoe. I feel like I need one of those 70s beaded curtains to walk through as a different person, but I definitely don't want beaded curtains all around my house. That would be taking hate for digital alerts to an extreme. Maybe I could change something I wear, like a ring or bracelet, or put a rubber band on my wrist or something. I'll keep thinking about it. What are the different domains in your life, and who are you when you're at your best in those areas? At home, at work, in your health, or in your contribution to society? What exactly is Optimus you like? What exactly do you do when you're really dialed in? What do you not do? How do you approach challenges? How do you handle setbacks? Can you see her clearly enough to be able to become her, at least in moments? I would invite you to take some time to decide what is most important to your daimon. What's just one thing? How can you do more of that? Once you can see your daimon clearly inside yourself, can you start to see the daimon inside others? If you slow down, can you notice the divinely awesome essence inside of the people around you? The people around us are doing the best they can, just like we are. When you get good at spotting the very best within others, you can connect with them daimon to daimon, and how marvelous is that? I believe that part of becoming your best self is being able to notice the best in others too. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you've got some ideas about using your alternate personalities to be more of who you want to be. First, get clear about who you are at your best in different areas of your life. What do you do? What do you not do? Then remember that Optimus version of you is always available. Ask her for advice. If she whispers to you, listen. Delegate your intimidating tasks to her. Hire her as your boss. Even just a few more minutes a day of allowing Optimus you to call the shots is enough to make a difference. Next week, we're going to talk about magnesium. Until then, trust your multiple personalities and don't be normal. Thank you so much for tuning into the Health Courage Collective podcast. I am truly honored that you have paid me the enormous compliment of your time and attention. I would be so grateful if you would share this podcast with someone you know and subscribe so you never miss an episode. This podcast is for entertainment and information purposes only. Statements and views on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Christina Hackett and producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse events by use of information contained herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.